Welcome back to Leaf the Week Behind, my 2025 Stitch Along, where we are going to stitch an embroidered leaf every Saturday for the entire year. We've made it all the way to October, and we're going to look at weeks 40, 41, 42, and 43. Here is week 40. And I did a cotton overlay on this wool leaf this week. We are going to stitch the beaded coral stitch. I'm going to show you how to do that. We're going to do some little X's, and then we're going to do the bullion knot. We've done this many times, but I'll do a quick demo in this video. This is my linen piece that we're going to stitch this week. I've got my cotton overlay. We are going to start with the coral stitch, and it's going to be a beaded coral stitch. So let me show you the supplies that you're going to need. Obviously, you're going to need some beads, and I'm using number 8 size seed bead. The reason for this is I like to use an eleganza pearl cotton number 8 to do my beading with, because I like the colors and I want the thread to show up. So I use a bigger bead, and you need to be able to thread the bead onto the needle. So in order to do that, we're going to be using a milliner's 5 needle. It's a little bit smaller than the size 3 that we normally would use, but you can actually feed the bead, which is a size 8, through this needle. As you can see, it's relatively easy to thread this 5 milliners with this eleganza number 8. To start the beaded coral stitch, you're going to bring your needle to the front of your work. I think we'll just start right here, just like that. You're going to pick up a bead, which I'm doing off camera. Got the bead on my needle. You're going to take a bite, and I'm doing it just in the background because that's how I like to do my coral stitches. You're going to wrap your thread front to back around your needle, and then you're going to bring your needle through, or your thread through, and it locks the stitch in place, just like that. So let's do it again. Before you start, you always pick up a bead with your needle, a little bite, and you can decide how close or how far apart you'd like to have this beaded coral stitch. You can do it however you like. I'm just doing it fairly close because I want to put a lot of beads on. Just like that. So let's do it again. So I'm going to pick up a bead, taking a little bite, wrapping my thread front to back, and pulling my needle through, and it locks the stitch. So the beads kind of lay flat. But that's all there is to it. I'll do it one more time, and then we'll move on to the next part. So I'm ready to do the next one. I'm going to pick up a bead, take a bite, wrap it front to back, and pull my needle through, just like that. Super easy. And it's really pretty. The next step for this leaf is the bullion knot. We're going to stitch bullion knots all the way around the leaf. We've done this many times this year. I'm just going to do a couple of them, and if you're new here, you'll get to see how to do the stitch, and then we'll move on to the next leaf. I've brought my needle to the front of my work. I'm going to take a little bite, just like this. The size of the bite determines the number of wraps. You've heard me say this. I probably sound like a broken record. And what we need to do is we need to fill this gap here, this little space. So I'm going to do probably 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 is sort of my sweet spot. I kind of make the same bite all the time. I kind of know that 10 stitches is my sweet spot. So after I've done that, I'm pulling my thread through, I'm holding it down. If you noticed, I have not picked up my thumb yet until it's pretty much tight right here in place. So I've got my little knot, but don't forget, you're not finished until you anchor your stitch. So you want to take your needle to the back of your work, just like that. Now you can also use the back of your needle, it's one of my tips, to kind of straighten out some of these wraps if they've gone a little wonky on you. You can do that before you start the next stitch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch away from me, or I'm doing it in a clockwise manner because I'm left-handed. It doesn't matter which direction you stitch. Do what feels good to you. So I'm going to come up to the top. I'm going to take a little bite and I'm going to wrap 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm holding on to the threads. And then I've made another one. Take your needle to the back of your work. So what I'll do is I will finish this leaf off camera, but let's talk about the next leaf. Let's take a look at leaf number 41. This week we're going to be doing some couching, some fly stitches, and then we're going to finish the leaf off with the coral stitch. So let's get out my linen piece and start stitching. I've got my linen piece here. This is the leaf we're going to stitch, and I'm going to show you the threads I'm using. I'm going to be using some of this old painter's thread. It's old, but it's old packaging. It's a soft cotton number 3. It's very pretty. It's hand painted, and it's Georgia 112. You can still get this. It's just in a spool now. And I've got a number chenille 18 needle here, threaded. And also, I'm going to be using some of this Steph Francis. It's a pearl cotton. It's hand dyed. It's a number 8. I will tell you the color number is 13, but their dye lots wildly vary. So if you see this, you probably won't get this if you order it. Remember when we first started this journey, I wanted you all to dive into your thread stash and use what you have. Instead of being a thread collector, be a thread user. This is what I did, is I've got this stuff in my stash and I'm trying to, you know, do something with it. And I still want you guys to do that too. So to get started, I just chose one side, and I think I did it in the background. I'm looking here, yeah, in the background. And I'm gonna create 4 rays that I'm gonna do couching stitches. So I think I'm just gonna, I think I eyeballed it myself. I didn't do any marking, but let's see how it looks. So I'm gonna do the first one. And then I'm going to come over here and do the next one. And then we'll go back and do the couching in a minute. Just like that. I did 4 of them. You don't have to do 4. You could do 3 if you want. I think I was just playing around with what I could do. Use the back of my needle to straighten that out a little bit. And I'll do one right here. Down like that. And I'll come do one down here. And I'm not going to take this thread to the back of my work just yet because I'm going to do the couching part and I don't want my thread here to get caught in the back. So I'm just going to set it aside just like that. And now I'm going to take my working thread here, my couch thread, and I'm going to do some couching. So I'm going to come up to the top I'm gonna come straight across and I'm gonna go back down and I'm gonna couch over these little rays that I made, just like that, okay? And what I'll do is I will do all of these and then I will come back and show you what the next part is gonna be. Because I still have my needle threaded with the painter's soft cotton, I'm gonna go ahead and do the coral stitch around the edge. And remember, I like to do my coral stitch all the way in the background. I don't pick up any of the wool. It's just my method. So I've taken a bite, I've wrapped my needle front to back, and it makes a little knot. Then I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go right over here, wrap it front to back, makes a little knot. I'll take a little bit bigger bite here, wrap it front to back, and it makes a little knot. This thread is kind of thick, but I like it. I think it's pretty. Oops. Got a little bit of a knot here. There we go. And you can see that it makes this nice little pretty edge. Do one more and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, and I'm going to finish this. I'll go all the way around and come right back. I think this turned out really good. The last step for this leaf is a series of vertical fly stitches, and we're going to put them here, 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 and here. So we'll do a little demo. I won't do the whole thing for you, but we'll start. I think I'm going to try to make them really high up. I think I kind of kept them even, the other ones even with the couching, but I think I'm going to go up to the top here a little bit more. So I'm going to bring, oops, did not knot my needle. How about that? Let's do that. Okay. I'm going to bring my thread to the front of my work here, just like that. I'm going to go to the other side and go down like in the center. So we're doing a little diagonal, working thread behind your needle. And then you're going to pull it and it makes a little V. I'm going to do it again. This time, I'm going to go on this side, go on the other side. And if you're not sure like where you should go on this side, if you pull your thread directly across, it kind of gives you an idea of where you need to go. Go just like that. And I think I did 3 of them, and then I just went straight down and did some couching afterwards. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. So I did that, and then I just took my thread all the way down to the base like this. Okay. And then I just took a couple of couch stitches just to keep that long thread in place before I moved on to the next one. So just like that. And I'll do one more. Okay, so you're going to finish this by doing those fly stitches in each of these sections, and then we'll move on to the next leaf. Let's take a look at week number 42. This is the leaf that I stitched, and we are going to need a cotton overlay. We're going to practice the basque stitch. It's a fun stitch, it's easy, but I thought we're just going to keep it simple, give you some time to practice this stitch. And then I did a few little French knots in here as accents on the cotton. Let's go over and look at the linen piece. Here is the leaf that I've chosen for my linen piece. I've got a little cotton overlay leaf on top, And I've already done the basque stitch around the inside. So I'm going to be using this Valdani. It's a pearl cotton number 8. It's color 41. I don't know if you can see the color very well, but it's a really deep, deep forest green. It's beautiful. And I'm going to be using my chenille 24 needle. Now, I would like to note that I stitch left-handed, but for this stitch, it doesn't matter if you're left or right-handed, you're going to stitch it in the same direction. So if you have a look at Sue Spargo's Creative Stitching Book on page 192, she stitches it the same exact way that I do. So I'm going to be stitching it in a counterclockwise manner. So I'm going to start up here and I'm going to go around. So let's take a look at how to make this stitch. The basque stitch has some similarities to the rosette chain, but it's a little bit different, but I just thought I'd throw that out. So I'm going to take my needle to the top of my work, just like this, and you're going to take a bite, and you want to make your bites kind of even so that they're even all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bite right here. This is, maybe about 1/4 of an inch. Now, you're going to take your working thread and it's going to go underneath your needle and over the top. Okay, so over the needle, just like that. And then you're going to cross it. Makes a little figure 8. And then you're going to pull your needle through, and you notice I'm holding my stitches in place with my thumb. And it looks like that. The next step is you're going to take your needle and take it to the back of your work, and you're going to come out really close to the base of that figure 8. And you're going to pull your needle through, and it completes the stitch. So let's do it again. You're going to take a bite, and you want it to be very similar in length of the last one. Have your working thread behind your needle. If you notice, I kind of just hold on to this last stitch with your thumb, but you want that thread to rest at the bottom, or flat with the background. And then you're going to wrap it around front to back, make a figure 8, hold it with your thumb in place. And you notice I pull away from me, hold it with my thumb in place, and then I'm going to take my needle to the back of my work. I'm going to come out on top of the last little bar there, and I'm going to pull it through just like that. Let's do it one more time. Take a stitch, have your working thread behind your needle, pull it in place, hold it with your thumb, make a figure 8, pull it through. Then you want to anchor that stitch in place. And that's the basque stitch. I'm going to work this all the way around, and then we're going to take a look at the next and last leaf for this month. Let's take a look at leaf 43. This is the leaf we're going to be stitching. It's going to be a lot of fun this week. We're going to stitch an open buttonhole filler basket for our flowers on the bottom part of the leaf. We're going to be stitching these little fly stitches really close together and then doing a back stitch. We've got some bullion knots here and some French knots. And then we'll finish off the side here with a chain stitch all the way around. So let's take a look at my linen piece. I've got my linen piece here, and this is the leaf that I'm going to stitch. I want to mark out my basket, the boundaries of where my basket is going to be for the open buttonhole filler. And I was using my water-soluble blue pen, but I can barely see it. So I am going to use my sew line, and I'm going to use white. And I've said this in previous videos that you really need to be careful when you're marking on wool with these pens so you don't break the leads, because you can quite easily break the lead. So I'm going to just carefully mark my basket here so that I can stitch the back stitch And I think you can see that. So that's the first step. The next step is we're going to do a back stitch all the way around this basket, and then we'll do the weaving part. The colors that I've chosen for this particular leaf, I'm going to be using EZM02. This is an Eleganza Pearl Cotton. It's a size 8 green tube. I'm also going to be using this Eleganza EZM22 green tube. And I'm also going to be using Eleganza EZM28. I thought these all paired nicely together. So first, let's back stitch the basket. I'm going to start on this side of the leaf to do my back stitch, and I'm going to do the sewing method. And I'm going to do the little back stitch on the edge, just like this. Oops. Oops. And you're going to do this all the way around and across the top of the basket part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue on, and then what I'll come back, and then we'll do the weaving part. I won't stay on camera for this whole thing because you know how to do a back stitch. I've done the back stitch of my basket shape, and now I'm ready to do the open buttonhole filler. So we're going to be working back and forth in rows until we come all the way down to the bottom. I have a full tutorial of this on YouTube, so I'm just going to kind of show you how I stitch. I'm coming up in the corner here, coming up to the top, and from the top down, I'm going to take my needle underneath that bar, and I'm going to keep my working thread behind the needle, and it makes a little loop. And I'm going to do this all the way across to the other side. Just like that. Okay. I know I need to go underneath there. Right? Oops. Oops. Just caused myself a knot here. Don't do that. Go back over here. Just like that. And I'm going to work in every single back stitch till I get all the way to the other side. Trying to keep my hand out of the camera. I'm using the back of my needle, but I also have a tapestry needle, but I just have gotten into the habit of working with the back of my needle. It's kind of what I like to do. And I tend to go for that, but you can do either way. Okay. Ooh, my thread's a little twisty today. I'm starting to get, the spool is starting to get low. So I've got some curls going here. So I've come all the way over to the other side. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come out of this back stitch, the first one on the side. You're going to come out, but then you're going to go back in again. And then you're going to continue on this way. So you could go in the corner here if you felt like you needed to, but I'm going to be decreasing pretty quick. So I'm just going to go into these loops. So you're going to go into this loop, this one, and this one. So you're going to keep doing that. So I'm working now from right to left and going back in the opposite direction. I used to be really scared of this stitch, but it's pretty easy. And you're going to keep going back and forth. Just like that. This is a really pretty brown variegated thread. It's called Pure Puppy Paws. Let's see here. I went through this hole. I'm going to go through this one. And when you come to the other side, got that side just like that. You can use the back of your needle to work your stitches the way you want them. You're going to come out the other side, just like that. And then you're going to come in the other side, the other back stitch, and then you're going to work the next row all the way across. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep on going, and then I'll come back and show you the next step. I just realized that I filmed that last clip in the wrong direction, so sorry about that, but I'm not going to start over. So I've already finished the open buttonhole filler stitch for my basket, and now I'm going to stitch some little fly stitches that will be the beginning of my flower. So, and I didn't mark it, I just kind of picked areas in which I wanted to stitch, and I think I'm going to do it right here, where I'm going to take my green and I'm going to make some fly stitches, but I'm going to make them really close together. So I'll just show you how I do that. See, I want them to be really close. I think I did 3 or 4 on each. So this is how I did those. Just stick them really close together. Just like that. Okay, and then I'm just going to make a little stem right down at the base of the basket. Okay, so I've done the first one. I'm going to come back and do the 2 others, and then I'll be right back. I finished the fly stitch stems here. I guess you call them stems and little leaves. Now the next step is to do the bullion knot little flowers that are inside. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my needle to the front of my work, and I'm going to make a bullion knot just like that. I'm going to wrap probably 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Pull my needle through, and if you notice, I'm holding my threads in place until I'm done. And then I'm going to take my needle to the back of my work to lock it in place, just like that. And then I'm going to do a little French knot on top. I'm going to do a 2 wrap, just like that. Okay, that's all there is to it. So I'm going to do the next one. I think I might make this one a little taller. Maybe I'll take a little bit bigger bite and cast on or wrap a few more stitches. Just like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll do 12 this time. Remember to hold on. And take your needle to the back of your work. Just like that. And remember, you can use the back of your needle to straighten any of the loops if you need to, just by swishing it. And then tightening it back up. And then I'm going to go up here. I'm going to do another French knot. I think what I'm going to do, just by looking at this, I'll do 2 wraps. I'm going to change to a lighter color. I think I might just change to a lighter color and do a couple more French knots on top, just to give it a little contrast. So I will finish this one, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. I decided to add another thread, and I was using this EZM 75 number 8 pearl cotton. It's a really soft yellow, but I think I like the way that turned out. Gave a little extra something. See you next month.